of life's been redefined, that's all for now. What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm not a very good liar, so I just set my goals higher. Do I have to state it one more time? I tell you I am doing fine, that's all for now. What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me?
Hello, what's going on? Are you guys ready for a live stream? I hope so, because that's what we're doing right now. So the plan for today is to do about an hour or so maybe of question and answer. Basically, you drop questions down, I answer them, that sort of thing. That should be fun. And then after we get done with the question and answer, we're going to go into our D&D 5th edition adventure, Fishy Business, that we've been working on, and we are going to continue working on that together. So that is the plan for today, and we shall be doing a giveaway. Let me see if I can find my giveaway stream. We're going to be giving away some more of these tactical tokens. Let me see if I can find this bad boy. Stand by, stand by, stand by, stand by. Is this the right one? Hey, that's the right one. There we go. So, we're going to be giving this bad boy, some of these away today, 20 of these guys for you all, and apparently I don't have my cameras set up properly. Let me see, is this the right one? Hey, that looks better. That looks better. I still don't have everything set up properly. I'm currently transitioning from like doing most of my stuff on Twitch and doing a lot more stuff here on YouTube. So apparently I don't have everything set up properly. But anyway, you guys can see a picture there of the tactical tokens that one lucky person shall be winning today. Yeah, and we're going to give those things away. And what else are we doing today? Oh, yes, that's right. Let us do our little shout out to my awesome patrons over on Patreon. So, big shout outs to Clammed Oyster, Mr. Lemon Pie, Baobon, Kurt Y, Theta Tag, Son of Sofa Man, Strahd, and Yokai. And just in case I put out the announcement on various channels, but there is currently one opening in my Ancient Dragons campaign. This is the game that I run for some patrons. So if you guys are interested in that, there's probably a link down in the description to my Patreon page and crap. If you can check that, you want to check that out. You get to play D&D with me a couple times a month. It's really cool. We have lots of fun. I think we have fun. I hope we have fun. If we don't, then they should stop playing with me. But anyway, let's see. Lots of folks here. Very, very cool. So let's start dropping some questions down here, guys, so we can start answering some stuff. Yeah. The way it works is you need to do what do we do? Hashtag all caps question, and then you write your question, and then I answer it. So that's what we do. Joan Dudley, hello, good to see you again. Ender Warlock, what up? This is what I do. I'm just gonna read people's names and your comments. It looks like everybody is coordinating their time zones in the chat. It is currently 10 o'clock, roughly 10 o'clock in the morning for me. So just to contribute there, 10 a.m. for me. Sven Silverman, what up? Ninja Theory, what's going on, dude? I don't say your last name. That's too complicated for me. Far too complicated for me. All right, somebody has a question, but then so Zanasushi, is your question fill in the blank question? I can answer any question I want. That'd be awesome. All right, cool. That sounds good, Tashio. I have had nothing to eat this morning. I got up this morning and I've just been trying to get this stream going and whatnot. And I was up late last night playing D&D. So yeah, that's why we started a little bit late. That's why I was late to my own scheduled live stream because, yeah, I was what I got. It could have been like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't know. It wasn't that bad. It was like 1 or something. I don't know. Whatever. It wasn't that bad. All right, so I got a link. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna go to my link, the link in the Discord for the question screen. My moderators usually will compile a spreadsheet with all your guys' questions, so it helps me to find the questions that have been asked. What is your favorite big bad evil guy that you've written and why? It's probably gonna be a tie between Lord Paxton and Granny Titchwillow. Probably Lord Paxton is still in the works. Like that storyline hasn't totally played out yet. So probably Granny Titchwillow has been my favorite one. And she was my favorite one because she started out as like an NPC quest giver. The players met her and she was going to help them to do something and she wanted a favor in exchange for that. And the favor ended up being something pretty bad and evil, which my players did, but they didn't quite understand what it was. Basically, she's a hag, and her sister, Agnes or something, had been killed and her body taken by some good white knights that follow Torm. And she asked the players to go get the body of her sister back, claiming that they had burned her as a witch, but it wasn't true. My players ended up killing several followers of Torm, who in the Forgotten Realms is a good deity, getting the Green Hag's body back, and then giving the Green Hag's body to Granny Titchwillow, who then, of course, raised her from the dead. And then my players got the information they needed and went on their way. Eventually, things came around, and they ended up having to fight Granny Titchwillow and whatnot. But the point is that it was memorable because they knew she was not... They suspected that she was a little bit evil or something was wrong, but they went along with it anyway. And so it was very, very cool. Lots of fun there. Jason, all you hear are excuses. Let me give you another excuse. I lost my leg the other day, so it's been hard getting around with one leg. That should help. That's a good excuse. Come on, man. You gotta give me that. You gotta give me that. It's a really good excuse. This is a test question. All right. I'm new to D&D, but what if your DM doesn't have the non-core books, but you want to use a non-core race? Should you get the extra books? I mean, the rule that I've always had with my players is, if you want to use something and I don't have the book, if that happens, then you need to get me all of the information about that thing. You can photocopy the page, you can just copy paste it, I don't care, but you need to get me the information and then I will review it and I might approve it or I might not. If it's a third party thing, then, that might not get approved. But if it's like, let's pretend I don't have Xanathar's Guide to Everything and they want to do the Hexblade Warlock, which is really cool, by the way, then it's up to my player to get me the information. So I would just tell your DM that, hey, here's all the information. Is it okay for me to play that? That's how I would approach that. I wouldn't buy my DM the book, although that'd be really cool because DMs do a lot of work and they should be recompensed. Giving them a book for free would probably make your DM very happy. I have not looked at Pathfinder 2E. I have no idea. No idea. Why YouTube and not Twitch? I don't know. Like my whole one of my goals, one of my purposes in live streaming is to just hang out with you guys and answer questions, create adventures together, just so that we can have more of like a little bit more of a community feel, you know what I mean? Hanging out, and a whole lot more people. Like when I do a live stream on Twitch, maybe 30 people come. When I do a live stream on YouTube, I get close to 100 sometimes, and so like if my goal is to hang out with folks and interact with the community, then YouTube is probably a better platform for that. I'm just kind of finding I did like several months testing things with Twitch to see how that would go, and it didn't seem to catch on as much. I've also YouTube, I feel, is a lot more accessible to most of my fan base. People can, you watch my videos, so presumably you can get on YouTube. A lot of people don't know Twitch that well. They don't have Twitch. They don't have the app on their phone. There are also stream rate issues. Some people can't watch my streams on Twitch because Twitch doesn't have, like, it has it, but I don't have access to it, the variable stream rate. So if people can't watch in 720p on Twitch, then they can't watch it, whereas YouTube does a variable stream rate. So there's a bunch of different reasons around that. I tested out Twitch to see kind of how it went, and then after a period of evaluation, I was like, Twitch probably isn't the best thing for me, I think I'll probably, if I ever do, I like painting minis and stuff, so probably I will, when I paint miniatures, I'll probably still stream that on Twitch, I'm guessing, but as far as like the hangouts and stuff like that, I feel that YouTube is just gonna work better for that. So that's some of my thoughts on that. I think Ender Warlock says, was it a good game? I think you're asking about the D&D last night. Yeah, it was fun. I had fun. I had fun playing my half-elf warlock hexblade for the first time. So that was fun. Moderators, if you can when you copy paste questions in, if there are some that you think are really good questions, could you highlight them for me in the spreadsheet? Just that way I have an idea of which ones are like the best questions to answer. Because I won't get to all the questions. This is the way it works, So, what's my favorite class? I love rogues, but I love rogues because of their versatility, Leighton. But playing the Hexblade Warlock last night was really cool. They're super, and I had the criminal background, so I was so super versatile. The Hexblade Warlock, you're good at melee, you have decent armor class, you have spell casting abilities. Obviously you have Eldritch Blast for range stuff. I had thief abilities because I took the criminal background. So I just like to create characters that are very versatile and useful in a wide variety of situations. So that way I don't feel like there's a big part of the game. Like if I'm a barbarian, there might be a big part of the game that I just can't really engage in with too much effectively because of like my limited skill set or something. I don't know. It's not. That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but those are my thoughts on that. So, hey, thanks for the super chat. Okay, that I can't read your name, but we'll just call you Zip Tie. I'm glad you like the content, dude. That's awesome, man. Says your homebrew rules are sure to help me at my table next week when dealing with combat. Awesome. I'm glad you guys like those. That video seems to be doing pretty well. Seems to be fairly helpful to folks. So I'm glad that was awesome. I'm glad that worked. The luck points. I love the luck points are one of my favorite ones from that video. Yeah, those work really, really well. A big improvement over the inspiration system in my opinion. Yeah, F Huber, you're actually one of the people that I had in mind when I was thinking about people not being able to see things on Twitch, because I remember you saying a while back that you had trouble seeing stuff on Twitch. And so that was one of the things, I was thinking about folks in general that fall into your situation that might have trouble seeing things on Twitch. Dodge Howl. Yeah, you're totally right, dude. Twitch doesn't like you live streaming to other platforms. You know what? Twitch can... Yeah, hi, Twitch. I should probably not say what I was going to say. It's not like I'm a partner or something with them. Like I care about that. It's funny. People will be like, "Oh, Twitch partner. I'm a Twitch partner." It's like, okay, that's great, dude. Rock on, man. All right, let's see what else got going on here. Why not dual streaming? Dual streaming is bad. I would never dual stream. Dual streaming is just a very, very bad proposition. One of the reasons that dual streaming is a bad proposition, because right now I'm chatting with you guys in the YouTube chat. Okay, imagine if I were streaming to both YouTube, Twitch, let's just say Mixer or something too, and maybe Facebook and maybe Instagram. Okay, so like when I'm talking to you guys on YouTube, the other people on other platforms are like, what is he talking about? I don't see any comments about that, you know, and then I'm ignoring them, you know, and then I'll go over to like Mixer or something and I'll be chatting to them, and then you guys are like, what is he talking about? I don't see those. It's a really bad like experience for the community, for you guys, and so I'm not gonna do that, you know. The other thing is that it's like, in all honesty, like it seems kind of desperate and pathetic in a way, you know. It's like streaming on one platform, it's like I can't get enough people to watch me on one platform, so I'm gonna like do all the platforms and try to get everybody, you know. It's like, I don't know, it just seems like a move of desperation or something. I don't know, it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't, whatever. So there are a few reasons in there, you know. So yeah, I'm not gonna dual stream. Andy Hinton, thanks for the $1.99, man. Appreciate it. What's the best campaign that I've run? I think my Sword Coast Guard campaign right now, that's the one that I talk about in the videos with Lord Paxton and stuff. That's definitely probably one of the best ones. Just the campaign setup, the premise, the plot, and mostly the things my players are doing, the cool, interesting stuff, and how they make decisions that affect the game world and affect how things turn out. It's just really turning into something that's really cool, which is why that's the campaign that I talk about most of the time in my videos, because that's the one that, like, that's where the cool stuff happens. You know, my other campaigns, obviously, the other things that I run are fun and interesting too, but the Third Coast Guard one is where the really, like, interesting stories and dilemmas come from, I guess. Jordan Beard, what up? Yes, long time no see. What's the craziest thing you have had happen in a session, either from yourself or the PCs? The craziest thing? Oh, I don't know. Lots of stuff happens. I don't know if there's like crazy stuff that happens. Nothing crazy comes to mind. Like, there are lots of cool, fun stuff that happens, but I don't know. I did a video a while ago about, it's called My Players Tricked an Ogre. That was pretty fun. That was pretty fun and crazy, where they tricked the ogre into helping them out, and then they did like after the ogre helped them kill a bunch of hobgoblins, the ogre was at the top of a tower, and then one of the players cast an illusion of a goat off the edge of the tower, and like the ogre was hungry, which is the reason the ogre agreed to help them. And then they told the ogre, you know, here's your goat, get your goat, and they convinced the ogre to jump for the goat. Of course, it was an illusion. He went right through it, plummeted to the bottom, or the ground, hit the ground, and then my players piled on around him and just, you know, slaughtered him. So that was an awesome game session. That was one of the best game sessions I've probably ever had. So definitely remember that stuff right there. Do I like cheesecake? Yes, I like cheesecake. It's not my favorite type of cake, but I like it. It's really good. Do you think intelligence, Gabriel Justy, do you think intelligence in 5e is a dump stat? It being as how it has no impact with the exception of a few classes and a handful of skills. I mean, you could make that argument for almost most of the abilities, depending on what your class is. You could say, you know, that charisma could be a dump stat for some classes. Wisdom is a good saving throw. You definitely probably want to have at least a plus. You don't want to have a negative modifier to your wisdom save, seeing as wisdom saves are pretty prevalent. Constitution's good for hit points. Strength depends. You know, if you're a rogue or a warlock or a sorcerer or something, strength is easily a dump stat. But I would agree that intelligence is probably one of the key places to dump stats. You know, in 5th edition, now in 3.5, intelligence was hugely useful because you get more skill points for it. I believe you learned additional languages based on your intelligence, I think. So like in 3.5, intelligence was not a dumb stat for me, at least, because skills were like, woo, I loved skills in 3.5, which probably ties into why I love versatile characters or classes. K-Kid is just making sure I like cheesecake. He's like, dude, if this guy doesn't like cheesecake, I'm out of here. I'm unsubbing. I'm leaving the stream. It's over. But I'm glad we settled that, and you're gonna stay with us, man. I could use some cheesecake. I just need some cereal or something. I just need some breakfast. I wish I could have breakfast. I already started the stream 5 minutes late, and I was like, dude, I'm running behind. I'm already starting late. I wish I could eat some food. Sean Hales, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Appreciate that. So £5. I don't know what that translates into. That sounds good, though. I'll take £5. Not like on my belly. I don't need that on my belly. That's already too big. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. Let me see. What other... Okay. T. Jester says... So I'm looking to start a homebrew free roam campaign. So I read that as in... the players can just go wherever and do anything. That's my interpretation of that statement. And I want the players to feel like they actually have an impact on the world, so it's dynamic. Do you have any tips on how I can do? Yeah, absolutely. After every game session, you analyze, you think about what they did, and then you think about, okay, how would the game world react to this? What would happen in the game world as a consequence of their having done this thing? Or how would the main villain react? Like, let's pretend that you have 5 lieutenants of the villain, and then you have the main villain. And let's say in the one session, they enter the dungeon or the compound of this lieutenant, wipe it out, and slaughter him. Okay, so is your main villain just going to sit there and be like, la-di-da, no big deal, and wait as they kill all the other lieutenants and do absolutely nothing, and then be like, oh, I guess it's time for them to come kill me now? Probably not. Probably at some point, your main villain's going to be like, this is bullcrap. Who do these guys think they are? I'm going to start sending assassins after them or something, or I'm going to have these guys team up and like do something, you know what I mean? So just think about what your players do in a session and then how the game world or the villains would react to that. And then you just adjust things accordingly. So that's how you would do that. And that's how I do it for my games when it makes sense to do so. All right. Thanks, F. Huber. He's giving me the translation of £5 to dollars. There's like some countries whose currency is so devaluated, and it's not Britain, obviously, but there are some countries that it's like you could give somebody 10,000 of whatever, and it's like $1. It's like a kobold who just values the shiny stuff. So you could give a kobold 1,000 gold, 1,000 copper pieces, and he would be excited. But if you want to exchange those 1,000 copper pieces for 5 platinum pieces, which is worth a lot more, I believe, the kobold would not be having it. He wants the copper pieces, Icy Gaming Rules says, is it bad I started in my first game with a wild magic sorcerer? I don't know why that would be bad. If you've never played D&D before and you start out with a spellcaster, I mean, you need to be aware that you have chosen a difficult path, because instead of knowing half of the rules in this book, right, you have to know a whole bunch more rules in this book and be familiar with your spells and stuff. So it just means more work and more reading and more preparation on your end. It's not bad. It's a decision, So nothing wrong with it. So Detro Deathbread says he's new to DMing. Got any tips for describing things? So, all I can tell you is what I do, okay? It is very easy for me to envision things in my mind. So when I think of a room full of corpses, immediately I see decaying corpses, bones sticking out, coagulated blood on the floor, flies buzzing around, and maggots crawling over them, a stench that just kind of hits you and makes you want to vomit, something moving under the corpses. So my imagination immediately, as I think of a thing, I can see it, and then I just start describing it. And then I just build and I play off from that. So I don't know if some people, if you can't do that easily, then, you might want to plan that out a little bit for major rooms or major events and just write it down. There's nothing wrong with, like, if you're running a module or it's your own game, with writing it down and having read aloud text, so you open up the module and you read it to your players. If you need to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to do what you have to do according to your talents and abilities. If you can just make it up on the fly or describe things and keep eye contact with your players and then describe things and use your body language, use your voice to make things sound interesting, exciting, or like mysterious and scary, then that obviously is going to take things up to the next level, but you just got to do what you can do and then, work on it and get better, with practice and all that good stuff. So yes, talk Ender Warlock. Yes, talk about the senses. What do they see? What do they hear? What do they smell? What do they feel? What do they taste? Like, if they go in there and start licking those corpses, that's probably not going to taste good. So yes, engage the senses as much as possible. Dun dun. AJ Silver Radio, hello. Thank you for just joining. So SS says, do you have any tips for blending narrative and adventure? Balancing the story you want to tell and the story your players are creating. Yes, here's my tip. Don't have too much of a story that you want to tell. That, in my opinion, that is not the Dungeon Master's job. You are not a storyteller. Okay? Your players are the ones that should be the primary driving, like, push to creating that story. If I, as a Dungeon Master, fall into the thought that a certain thing needs to happen, it needs to happen this way, and this is my story, this is what I want to tell, then I should probably turn over my Dungeon Master guide and my dice and become an author and write books. Okay? So I don't advise Dungeon Masters having a story that they want to tell. My advice would be that Dungeon Masters would create situations, okay, that the players then interact with, and how they interact with those situations determines the story that comes about. For instance, I have a big bad guy called Lord Paxton. He is doing something in the game world. He has motivations and he has actions, things that he's doing that cause conflict in the game world. Okay, that is a thing. That's not a story. That's a situation. That's something that's going on. Okay, and it's going to happen. Right? Now, my players become aware of this through plot hooks and other devices, and then they start to interact with this, okay? And their interaction with Lord Paxton and what he's doing, that determines the ultimate story that gets told. Whether that's a story of the players joining his side and helping him, or it's a story of their attacking him and thwarting him, or it's a story of their making deals and bargains with him, or it's a story of an uneasy alliance, which Lord Paxton then betrays them. All of that depends on my story's actions and what they decide to do in the game. So that is my tip. Bam. All right, let's see. What else? Big spreadsheet. Lots of questions. Oh my gosh. How many? We got that's a lot of questions. How do you use? So Joan asks, how do you use curses, items, armor, spells? Do you have any of your own unique curses you can share with us? I don't really make, why did it turn purple? That's weird. I'm going crazy. I thought my OBS screen was turning purple for a second there. I don't think it was. I think it was just out of the corner of my eye, I saw the red and blue of my background kind of blending together and making it purple or something. So there's a tangent for you. Anyway, I don't use curses a whole lot, in all honesty. Usually when my players find out that an item is cursed, they usually just get rid of it. And they're just like, this curse is stupid. It's not worth it. I mean, we have other magic items that aren't cursed, so let's just get rid of it. You would have to make that magic item extremely good to outweigh the failings of a curse. So I don't use curses a whole lot, in all honesty. I don't think that way is necessarily the best way or the only way. It's just kind of how I do it. But I know you can probably make a lot of awesome curses and make it lots of fun for your players. And I would encourage you to do that if that everybody finds that to be interesting and fun. Me personally, I don't use them a whole lot, so I don't really have much information I can give you. Sorry. It is what it is. I could just make up lies for you, but that's probably not good. How do you work out underwater combat? Well, so Jane, is it Jane or Jan? Oh man, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce things. That's the problem with my channel. Like all the time in my videos, I'm mispronouncing things. It's beautiful. Underwater combat is, it's, if you don't have a swim speed, it is difficult terrain, which means it costs you twice as much movement to swim, okay? And, by the core rulebook, a PC can hold its breath for 1 minute plus a number of minutes equal to its constitution modifier. So if your constitution score, if your modifier is like a 1, you can hold your breath for 2 minutes, okay? One round of combat is 6 seconds. So you can get through 10 rounds of combat in 1 minute. So underwater combat is really not a big deal. You just hold your breath and you fight and it's all good. Now you could make up alternate rules saying that when you're in combat, every time you get hit, there's a chance that you're going to lose your breath or something. You could homebrew some stuff if you want. That's fine. By the rules by core, underwater combat's not really that hard. There are some rules about the different types of weapons you can use. A lot of the weapons, you have disadvantage on attacks with them. Some things you don't, right? Most of the time, what I do as a ruling and make it simple is piercing weapons are able to be used normally underwater. Slashing weapons or bludgeoning weapons, those you have disadvantage to attack just because of the resistance of the water as you try to swing something. Whereas piercing is much easier when you have like resistance of water. Okay, so it's the exploration underwater that really causes difficulties, right? Because then you're talking not about like holding your breath for a minute. You're talking about like a long-term underwater exploration. So you got to give them a way to breathe underwater, which actually the breathe underwater spell, if I remember correctly, it can affect up to like 8 people for an hour or so, a good period of time. It's not even concentration, so it's a really easy spell to either get or get a scroll for, or you could build your dungeon with like little pockets where they can breathe or something. You could put little fungi under in the dungeon. They can that has air in it, they can breathe or something. I don't know. You could figure something out. So I don't do a lot of underwater stuff, to be honest with you, because most people, if you don't have a way to breathe underwater, you're just not going underwater because you would probably die, so you got to give some sort of mechanic to your players. Sean Hales. Okay, you forgot the text. He's like, he threw me a super chat and you forgot to put the text in. All right, well, we'll hook you up, dude. What sort of missions, he says, what sort of missions do you give your PCs at the start of your campaign? Is there a starting plot? Also using Legendary Dragons book. I don't know anything about a Legendary Dragons book, but basically what I do at the beginning of a campaign is I'll always have an idea in my mind of who like the big bad final boss guy will be, and some of the different situations, some of the different monsters and creatures and stuff that's going to happen in the campaign. And so what I do at the beginning of a campaign is I'll just start to put little scenarios, little missions in place, little adventures for the PCs to go on where they kind of start to get exposed to that central plot, that central conflict that is in the game world, and so let's just pretend that there's an evil goblin overlord trying to take over the world. They might at first or second level run into some goblins, and then find a letter from somebody they don't even recognize giving them instructions to do something, and then they might go and do something totally unrelated for an adventure or two, and then they'll run into these goblins or goblinoids again, and some more letters, more instructions, then they might run into a lieutenant over here who has, and so you slowly begin to kind of like give out to them some of these things, and they start to see this reoccurring theme of, hey, who is this person, and where are all these letters coming from, and what the heck is going on? And then they start to kind of see that, and they get interested in that, and they want to go investigate it and figure out what's going on. And so I just start to kind of dole that stuff out at the beginning of the campaign and then just keep it up going forward. Yeah, water breathing is 24 hours. Thanks, Huber. Yeah, totally. So that's it's not a problem. Just cast that bad boy and you're good to go. It's probably a ritual spell too, for that matter. So it's not a big deal. You just gotta have access to it. Let me see. All right, let's go up here. So Violet Hyena says, what is your favorite type of player background? Open-ended or detailed? I like simple player back. So if, as a dungeon master, if my characters are writing backgrounds, I like ones that are short. So I don't have to read 20 pages, because I'm not going to read 20 pages of character background. Sorry, no offense, but not going to do it. Short and give me enough interesting things that I can use in the game. So usually what I have a template of questions that I give my players to help them develop their backstory, their background, and then they just answer the questions, and it usually gives me, enough things to work with, like, why did you become an adventurer? What is the one thing that would tempt you to fall from grace and do something evil? What is your biggest weakness or something? Or I don't know, what motivates you to be an adventurer or something. So I did a video about session 0. You can find it on my channel. There's a download in the description on that video to my backstory template that I asked my players if you want to check that out. So basically, I just want them to give me information that I can use to kind of like customize my game world a little bit based on my players, So that's really all I look for. That was cell 17, by the way, moderators. I answered row 22 already. I answered row 23. And Legend Network says, do you have any ideas on changing up classes as explained in the Dungeon Master's Workshop chapter of the Dungeon Master Guide? So like making classes different for my high magic setting. It's gonna be you tinkering with things. I usually don't change those things. I usually leave all of those core rules, classes, and everything as is. I don't personally spend my time goofing with that. I spend my time creating adventures for my players. That's where I spend most of my time. But if you want to tinker with that, then you just tinker with it. You'd add some things. If it's a high magic setting, you might give. Like I have a dynamic in my Wonder Panda campaign that I run at work for some coworkers. I have a dynamic there where they gain magical abilities as they level up. So like right now, I think each of them has a different first level spell that they can cast 3 times a day. And then I think they have a second level spell that they can cast 2 times a day. And then they each have a third level spell they can cast 1 time a day. And so, and they're all different spells, so they're kind of like, spread out, and they have different abilities and stuff. And they just all get that. The trick, I think, is trying to keep things fair and balanced. You don't want to give, and so I just give that to all the characters. It's not class dependent, right? If you give all of the classes a little bit of extra benefit, and that extra benefit is pretty much equal in power, well then you're fine, because everybody's still on that mostly even playing field. Although there are classes that are far more powerful than others, like paladins, for instance. But if you're gonna tinker, keep balance in mind, would have been my only suggestion. And they just come up with unique and interesting ideas to change things to. Those are my thoughts. So Justin the Cold says, I'm a new DM currently running Legendary Minds of Phandelver for a group of 3. We are about halfway through. Any advice on what to run next? So I think when you get out of that, you're like level 5 or something. So I don't know, what adventures are there at level 5? So you have Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which may or may not be your thing. It's a big dungeon crawl. What are some of the other ones? There's the what's that one? In the Jungles of Cult, the Tomb of Annihilation. I've heard good things about that one. What else? I'm just like looking. I'm trying to look at my junk. What do I got going on here? Don't run Prince of the Apocalypse. Don't recommend that one. Don't do that. And Curse of Strahd is supposedly a really good one. You might want to check that one out. So yeah, just grab a module, man. Maybe one of those if you want. Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation, I've heard those are very difficult. Descent into Avernus, I'm playing it right now. Again, very, very difficult. If you're a new dungeon master, those might not be your best options, but the only way you learn is by doing it and trying it out. So those are good modules, the ones I just mentioned. So, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to kill your players' characters and, have to deal with that. So Galen Smokescale says, how do you handle players figuring something out due to false information? My elves are immortal. Player assumed they're not due to his own background. Figured out NPC is a dragon. Whatever. That's their problem. If they believe something that's not true, then they believe something that's not true. I don't change anything based upon their false information. It's kind of like if I believed that I were a chicken, okay, that doesn't really affect, it's just it affects me, okay? I might go around balking or some buck, but that's not going to affect the world around me. It might affect how they view me or something. It might affect their reactions to me, okay? But I'm not going to try to head that off. In fact, I probably would embrace that stuff, and figure out a way to make that more interesting and possibly bite them in the behind. You know what I mean? If they think something is, and they have a false lead or false information, and they go down that path, well, okay, it's either a dead end and nothing happens, or I can make something really interesting result. And then at the end of that, they're going to be like, oh, we were so dumb. Why did we even believe that? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would try to do something cool with it, and play off from it. But I wouldn't correct them. I would just let them, okay, you believe the elf is a dragon. All right, what are you guys going to do? And then go from there. Nithrius says, critical fumble and critical hit chart, yay or nay? I did some of those charts years ago. Nobody liked them. My players universally hated, especially critical fumbles. Because players usually, especially melee, the thing with critical fumbles and critical hits and all that kind of stuff is it usually unfairly targets characters who make attack rolls as opposed to wizards who make saving throws and stuff a lot. And so it unfairly targets them. Players are rolling their attack rolls a lot more than monsters usually do. And so it often unfairly targets players, but the biggest thing is, all fairness aside, it bogs the game down. It makes combat take even longer than it already does. And so I viewed it as a cost-benefit question. What is the benefit that I'm getting out of this new rule, critical hits, critical fumbles, and what is what's the cost to it and what's the benefit to it? So if the benefit is way up here and the cost is very small, then okay, let's do it. But if the benefit is questionable, in my groups it was questionable, and the cost is the game takes a lot longer and the players are upset about it, well then I'm going to get rid of those stupid rules because nobody likes it and it makes combat go slower, and slow combat is already a problem and sucks. So I decided don't need it. Lots of people like them. If your players love them and your group is cool with it, then don't listen to me. Do what you guys enjoy doing. That's just my opinion and what I've found based on my experience, right? Which doesn't mean anything necessarily. Leighton West says, what does a structured adventure look like? I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that question means. My adventures are just a scenario. Here is a dungeon. I know it is in all of the rooms. I know who is running the dungeon, and I know what their motivations are, I know what their objectives are, and then the players interact with that, and they do something. I don't know how any more structure that I would give to it than that. So, a polyester says, when you sometimes give scenarios in your videos of your players and campaigns, are they from homebrews? Almost always, yes. Because I don't run a lot of modules currently. I have a love-hate relationship with modules. I will get excited about running a module. I'll start running the module, and I'll realize that running the module is a lot more work a lot of times than making my own content. And it gives me I feel like it gives me less flexibility, I feel like I can customize things less for my players. And so I go in waves where I'm yay, module. And then I'm oh, modules suck. Why am I running this module? So yeah, a lot of the answer to your question, a lot of the examples are from my homebrew games, not from modules. And most of my examples are from my Sword Coast Guard group too. Oh, so I have there should be a link down in the description but I post my game sessions from my Sword Coast Guard groups up onto like a second YouTube channel called the DM Lair Streams. And there's a link down in the description. I'm pretty sure I put a link down in the description to it. Let me double check that. Just in case you guys want to watch that game. Let me see. How do I do this? There is a way to look at stuff. Oh, I have no idea. YouTube changed their live stream interface, and I still haven't like figured out exactly where everything is. So let me see. It might be here. I'm pretty sure there's a link down below. There should be a link down below. Yeah, there is. There's a link down below to it. It's called the DM Lair Streams. So you can, if you're interested in watching that Sword Coast Guard group, then all the videos are posted over there now. For a while I was putting them here on this channel, so if you go way back in the channel, you can find some of them here. But now I started recording them and putting them up on that other channel, the DM Lair Streams. Just be aware that like it's one camera in the corner, you know, recording us. So there are no bells and whistles. It's just a bunch of guys, you know, playing D&D, and we're not streaming it for an audience. Like Critical Role streams for an audience. It's a show. They're streaming for an audience. We're playing D&D for ourselves, right? I'm not trying to entertain somebody watching us. You know, I'm hoping that my players get the entertainment, and so we're playing for ourselves. So it's probably not nearly as exciting as you might think, because it's just us playing and having fun. We're having fun. You know, if people watch us, we're not concerned with the people watching us. I guess. Okay, let's see. Next. The best race, in my opinion, Half-Elf. Amazing. It's a great race. I hate variant humans. I mean, I hate humans because they don't have dark vision or low light vision, dark vision. So, don't like humans. All right, let's see. So, if we at you, does it annoy you? I wouldn't necessarily at me. It'll get my attention, but then but if everybody starts adding me, then that's gonna get annoying, and then I'll start ignoring you. Don't at me. That's like a meme right now. Don't at me or something. I don't keep up to date or up to speed with memes. Is it memes or memes? I don't know. Whatever. So Snowfox, hello, good morning, welcome. Always D&D like no one is watching, right? I mean, when I run my games, I don't pay attention to people watching. I don't even, yeah. You hate elves? Cthulhu, that's not cool, man. Well, not elves. I don't usually play elves. I like playing half-elves. Dwarves are cool. I love dwarves. Yeah. Do you use any third-party books like Cobalt Presses? Nope. No third-party books. I don't have time to read third-party books. Like seriously, like I have a copy. What do I have? The only third-party book that I've ever purchased is this one right here. Okay, and I haven't even had time to read, but like one chapter out of it. I just don't have time. I have all of the Wizards books that I don't have time to read. There are huge sections of the books that I buy from Wizards that I don't have time to read. So it's like if I buy a third-party book, it's like probably not going to have time to read that either, let alone use the content from it. Just I'm too busy doing crap. So, all right, another questions. Yes, I agree. Half-elves are amazing. But there's probably lots of awesome content in third-party books. It's a question of, you know, do you have the time to get it and then read it, you know? And for me, it's like I could buy all the books and then I don't have any time to read it, so it does me no benefit. You know what I mean? Yes, Jason S. He doesn't even have time for breakfast. Yeah, totally. I don't have time. You guys, yeah. I don't want to gripe about how little time I have. It doesn't impact anything. It's just an excuse. But yeah, I'm at the point where I have to heavily consider every hour of my day and how I use that time. You know, like what activity am I going to? I used to be big into video games. I haven't played a video game for like 3 years or something. You know, and then there were a couple days about a year ago that I played Skyrim. I think it was just for a couple days. But then that's all I could do because I was just too busy. It's I swear it's the video. I mean, anybody who has made video work at all, who's done scripting and filming and then cutting, the editing and stuff and all of that, anybody who is in that thing will know that it is very, very time intensive. It takes a lot of time to do all that kind of crap. You know what I mean? So, and then when you're running D&D games and crap, it's just whatever. Whatever. Nobody wants to hear me gripe about how busy I am. Nobody cares. Because most of you are like, yeah, I'm busy too, buddy. Suck it up. Quit whining. That's what I think. Every time I hear somebody else complaining about how busy they are, I'm just like, yeah, me too, dude. So like nobody wants to hear it. Like sometimes you greet people and you're like, hey, what's going on, dude? How are you? And they're like, busy, busy, busy. And I'm just like, dude, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Okay, let's change the subject. Ender Warlock says, do you feel other classes should have the ability to have an animal companion in 5th edition since Ranger is so and it's unlikely to be used? I mean, if you give, anytime you home rule something and give an added benefit to a character class, then you're increasing the power of those character classes, and you just got to make sure that like there's an even, like if you say that, okay, paladins can have animal companions for whatever reason, but you don't make it accessible to everybody, well then you have unbalance entering into the game. So I don't have a problem with you giving people animal companions. I would just say to make sure that it is fair and balanced for all of your players. Otherwise they're going to feel like, I'm getting gypped because you're showing favoritism or something to the paladin, but the wizard here, like, I don't get anything. Well, you got your familiar. But the familiar's part of my class already. You gave the paladin an animal companion, and that's not part of his class. So just consider your players and balance in your game. You don't want your players to think that you're like, have a favorite or something, and then they're getting the short end of the stick. Because then your players aren't going to be happy. And when you're not happy, you probably don't have fun. Gamer626 says, I'm a brand new DM and I want to run the game for a bunch of new players, friends. Where do I start that isn't Lost Mines? For example, a one-shot. So I'm gonna plug some of my crap. Because I have, so over on my website, thedmlair.com, I have some free adventures that you can pick up. I think there are 2 of them that are made for low levels, like level 1 and stuff. So there are 2 of them there. They're free. They're not super polished. I'm going to be honest with you. They're going to probably take some work from you. Okay. And right now, I'm currently in the process of publishing another D&D adventure called Demons Below over on DriveThruRPG. Let me find a link for that for you. Stand by. It's not published yet. It's going to be published it is a one shot. It's going to be out in December, at the latest. And let me find a link for that for you. I'm just gonna throw you a link to my DriveThruRPG page. Stand by. Just so. What is wrong with you? I don't need to create an account. You piece of junk. It's like, thank you very. So this is what I want to show you. I can't show you this. DriveThruRPG right now has like a special message right here. Oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. I'm like struggle bus right now. What the heck? Wow. Oh my gosh. What a piece of crap. I can't even log in right now. Alright, that's a problem. Alright, you just broke the live stream. Who asked me this question? You just broke the live stream, man. I'm gonna have to do something here. Actually, there should be, there should be. Stand by. Actually, I have an idea. Squeaky, my cat is bothering me too. I'm trying to find a link, and my login for DriveThruRPG is not working. So that is not good. Here we go. I found the link, though. I've saved a live stream. Yeah, your questions are getting piled up. Sorry. All right, right there is where you can get some adventures that I publish. Most of them are fairly short, so they might not all be one-shots, but they maybe take you 2 sessions or something to play, but they're not like super long or anything like that. He's like, well, yeah, I mean, you didn't break the live stream, but like Drive-Thru RPG my password's not working, so like it doesn't help me right now. Like this is a bad time for Drive-Thru RPG to be like, we reset your password recently, you know. So anyway, by the way, guys, if you're getting value out of the content I create, the videos, the advice, the live streams, and whatnot, Drive-Thru RPG and the adventures that I publish over there is a great way to help support the channel, help support the content that we're making and stuff like that. So go check that out. All the adventures. So there are some adventures that are pay what you want, and you can just, grab them and toss me whatever you feel like you want to. Some of them are like I think the maximum price of them is like $2 or something. So if that's something you'd like to do, then that's a great way to help support the channel and what we're doing around here. So there you go. There's your plug. There's your call to action for the video. Oh, we got to do a giveaway. Let's get the giveaway going. Let me get a link for you guys to sign up for the giveaway. Stand by, because we're giving away. Where's that? Let me see. Let's do the giveaway right now, because I told you about the giveaway at the beginning of the video, but then I didn't actually show it to you. Stand by. So that right there, we're gonna give away some of these tokens. So let me get the link for that, and then we're gonna do the giveaway right now. Well, I'm gonna get you guys so you can sign up for it. You know what I mean? And then is this the right one? Yeah. That way you guys can get some free stuff. Well, you can at least sign up for it. All right, so here we go. Bam! There is a link to the giveaway. You guys can sign up for that. And you need a password. There's like a secret password. When you sign up for this, there's a secret password. What is it? Coffee. Just put coffee in as the secret password for that giveaway. Yes, it's US only. Shipping costs, man. Sorry. I can't. There are 2 problems. First of all, I used to work in logistics, okay? And shipping internationally can often cause significant problems, especially for a product like this that isn't necessarily in like an official like list of customs stuff. So first of all, customs and import problems are a thing. And second of all, the cost of shipping internationally. Okay, so I'm sorry if you're not in the US, but I can't go there. So sorry. Help yourself to the rest of the free content that I produce, though. All right, so there's that. So hook up for that. And then I think now we are back to our regularly scheduled program. So we got you the giveaway information, and let's keep going. Captain Bruce says, I'm inviting friends over to play D&D tonight, and I'm going to be the Dungeon Master. Do you have any tips? Because I just subscribed yesterday. Have fun. The most important thing is to have fun, and as you're playing D&D. So that is my biggest tip for you, dude. And they're coming over tonight, so, I mean, you have several hours to binge watch my videos, I guess. I don't know. My biggest advice is to have fun, but I can't boil down, 2 years worth of videos in one answer in a live stream. But there you go. Have fun is the most important thing when you're playing D&D. Yeah, coffee is the word. Coffee is the word for the giveaway, folks. What's my opinion on evil PCs? So I have a rule with my players. I tell my players, I don't care what your alignment is. I don't care if you call yourself evil, but I am not running an evil campaign, and we're not going there. Okay, so if you want to call yourself evil, but you're willing to play the adventure and play along, and you're not going to backstab the other PCs, then you can call yourself whatever you want. But this is not an evil campaign. I'm not going there. If you feel like your freedom as a player is being encroached upon, then sorry. There are probably lots of other DMs who are willing to run an evil campaign for you. And it's never been an issue for me. That's my opinion, though. I just don't run evil campaigns. And I'm not gonna mess with the drama and the out of character problems when a thief or somebody wants to steal from another character, because then you get players that are legitimately upset at each other, and that causes group dynamic problems and possibly people to leave groups. Okay, so I don't do that. It can work for some people, but I have experientially found that more times than not, it causes serious out of character problems in games, and people get upset about that kind of stuff going on. There are like millions or thousands of NPCs in the world. Go steal from them. Go kill them, right? The players, your characters, should be a team working together and playing as a group. A lot of people come to D&D because they don't like the PvP stuff that's out there. They want to feel part of a group that you're working together where everybody's a winner. And that's one of the driving things that a lot of people like about it. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure I provide that environment so that everybody feels, it's a safe space or something. I don't, whatever. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. My cat is just bugging the crap out of me. Squeaky's like, this is the wrong. Where's the cat cam? Let's see if I can get you Squeaky on the cat cam for you. Oop, that's the wrong one. Right here. Squeaky. Oh, he went off camera. This guy's been bugging me. Just like, he comes up to my chair and he paws at me and stuff. So, this is Squeaky. He is, he's a big one. He's a big one. What's the best use of a normally useless cantrip you've ever seen? I don't know. I would love to see True Strike used in a useful manner, because True Strike is probably the most useless, pathetic cantrip in the game. But I've never seen anybody even pick it, let alone try to use it. Prestidigitation is not a useless cantrip, but there are lots of creative, inventive uses for it. Minor illusion, not a useless cantrip at all, but very versatile, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Yeah, but most of my players don't even bother with useless cantrips because they're useless. So I got nothing from experience for you. All right, so Swift says, I've noticed fast combat is something you advocate. What are your feelings about describing attack or spell actions? Should players or DMs be responsible for this, or should it not be done? So, I have no coffee. It's not good. I'm gonna pretend to drink anyway because I've already picked my cup up. There, that was mildly satisfying. So I think that describing an attack or an action doesn't take very long, right? Jumping forward and swinging my sword with like rage is a description that took like a few seconds and greatly contributed to the narrative of the battle, to my role playing, to making things more interesting to everybody at the table. So again, it's the cost benefit thing. What is the cost to it and what is the benefit to it? A simple short description like that, huge benefit in my opinion, very little cost. Okay. Now, if every single time you're like, okay, I slowly approach the enemy with my sword out, and then I'm going to kind of like wait for an opening, and then I'm going to parry with my shield, and then as I parry the blow, I'm going to strike forward, but then he parries my sword, and I'm going to bring it around like this, and I'm going to slice through his helmet hat like this, and then I'm going to shoulder check into him. And you go into this long description for an attack roll, one attack roll. Then you have now switched into benefit, but way too much cost. So there's like a balance there. Now, as far as who should be responsible for it, so I as the dungeon master will do that sort of description for my enemies, for the monsters, okay? Most of the time during a combat. Very, very short, try to make things interesting, spicy, and stuff for my players. I have zero expectations that my players are going to do that for their characters. If they want to, that's great, okay? But I don't even ask them to do that. The only time that I ask them to describe what happens is when they kill a monster. When they actually kill a monster, Then I will ask them, would you like to describe how you do this? It's the critical role thing of how do you want to do this? So at that one moment, I'll prompt them because it's a little bit more of an important moment, And so at that point, my players will usually describe what they do. Of course, I have one player who almost never wants to describe anything. I usually still ask him anyway, and he's like, no, I don't want to. And then I'll be like, okay, and then I describe it, So there's no pressure, though. I don't think anybody is responsible for it. I, as the dungeon master, try to take that on myself because I think it makes the game more interesting. Snowvox says, how do you handle balancing combat where it can be quick, but the players still feel like they accomplished something? And not so much, oh, things, let's just kill this and keep going. I mean, there needs to be combat in the game because that's a big part of the game. So you have you have combat, you have you have combat, you have exploration, and you have social interactions. Those are the 3 pillars of the game, okay? And a lot of players like combat. If 90% of your character sheet is made for combat. Where's this book? Most of this book is combat rules. The game is designed around combat. So there should be a certain expectation, and it's okay to say that there's going to be a lot of combat in the game. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So having a good combat presence is good because there are lots of players who want combat, and so it appeals to that player type. In the same way that you need exploration, in the same way that you need social interaction. Social interaction is what most people call role-playing, but the entire game is role-playing. When I am a fighter and I'm in combat, I am role-playing, okay? I don't have to be talking to somebody out of combat for that to be role-playing. I think I'm getting off topic, off your question. What's the balance? I mean, the balance is to include all of those elements. There's combat, there's exploration, where you're going through the compound, you're finding things. Traps and puzzles count as exploration in my book. And then there's social interactions. Like the game I ran last night, or I didn't run it, I played in it, there was no social interaction. There was really nobody or anything to talk to or interact with during the course of the adventure. It was exploration and it was combat. So it was missing one of those pillars, right? And when you're missing that pillar, then you have like the players in that game who like social interaction that can't engage in that part of the game. And so the balance is to include a little bit of everything to appeal to the different types of players in your game. I hope that helps a little bit. Like, having a long combat when it's something like a boss battle or something, I think I'm okay with that, because that's like a boss battle. But if it's not a boss battle, my cat is just like hitting all the cables and stuff. He doesn't understand that I actually need those things. But if it's not a boss battle, then yeah, I want to try to keep things a little bit snappier and quick, and yeah, I hope that helps. I'm really hungry. I'm so hungry. I swear my cat is down here bugging the crap out of me, pawing at me. He just comes up and he's like, on my leg, he's like, just pawing at my leg. Like, leave me alone. There you go. Yes, your questions are piling up. I mean, this is the way it works. The questions pile up. I answer the ones I can. Eventually, I get tired of answering questions, and then we will move on to working on our adventure together. So that's just the way it happens. What am I calling a piece of crap? I don't know. I call lots of things a piece of crap. It's hard to tell what I was talking about. I'm like way back in the chat. Is there a skill in using a shield as a weapon? Is it worth it? I think there might be a feat called Shield Mastery, I think. And I think it allows you, could be wrong, but I think it allows you to like shield bash or something with a bonus action maybe. In my opinion, so I did a little bit of like SCA and stuff, and we had shields and you would use them and stuff. In my experience, fighting with a shield and a sword, it was like a rattan is what they called them. Part of combat is using your shield as a weapon. You don't just use your shield for defense. So the D&D game system kind of it departs from reality, in all honesty. Well, it does that in a lot of ways, obviously, because you have to have game rules that determine how things work, and they're not always realistic, and that's fine. There's a place for that, right? But in real life, your shield is always considered part of a weapon. You know, like you're always using it. You're gonna hit somebody. Like I'm gonna use the corner of my kite shield to like pull somebody else's shield down so that I can get my sword in there or something. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna like, you know, put it right in my person's face so they can't see, and then I'm gonna like attack their leg or something. So you're always using your shield in an offensive manner. You know, obviously sometimes you're blocking with it and crap. You know, but it's still part. It's a weapon. It's in your hand. You're gonna use it. You know. In D&D terms, you have to do something special. I think there's a feat for using it as a weapon. I probably, yeah. So yeah. So history says, have you checked out action-oriented monsters? How do you feel about the concept? I think I watched part of that video. I think I watched the first 3 minutes of that video where the concept was actually explained. And I think it's really just giving your enemies different things they can do, different actions and stuff, special actions and abilities. And yeah, I do that. Absolutely. I didn't watch the whole thing because then it went into lots of like examples, I think. And I got the value out of the video after the three minutes. So I didn't watch the whole thing. So if there was more to it that I missed, then sorry. But I thought it was just going to be the rest of the video with examples. So I was like, whoop, I'm out of here. So sorry. I do watch most of his stuff though. I like him. You know, I like his content. I think it's good content, you know. I need to get coffee. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. And we are going to get into our adventure creation in just a little bit here too. I want to get started on that. Nice. It tastes so much better to drink coffee than air when I have an empty cup. Should the spell Moonbeam work underground? In my opinion, Cthulhu dude, I usually allow spells that only work above ground to work underground because it's lame. Like, Moonbeam, Call Lightning is another one. It's like, come on. Most of the game takes place indoors or underground in dungeons or caverns and stuff. Like, most of my game never happens outside. And so, players that have Moonbeam or a druid that uses Call Lightning is never going to get to use that spell because of the way I design my game. And my players shouldn't be punished because that's how I design my game. So I just tell them, yeah, you can use it. I don't care. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's fine. I allow it because, yes, reasons. Do you know of any unbalanced monsters in D&D? I'm sure there are some. I mean, the whole challenge rating system becomes unbalanced and unwieldy and falls apart at a certain point anyway. So at that point, it's like it doesn't even matter if the monster's unbalanced because the whole system doesn't work, you know. So Gamer626 says, any tips for role playing? Yeah, you think of your character, you think of like, what are my motivations? What are my desires? What do I want? What are my hopes, fears, dreams, etc.? You try to think of those things, and then when a situation comes about, based on that, who I am as a character, how do I respond to that situation? What do I do? What do I say? That's the essence of role-playing, in my opinion. So that's my tip. That's probably what people call getting in character, I would imagine. Okay, so Captain Bruce says, if players who want pets, how do you involve that pet, or if you just say no pets? So I don't have a problem if a player wants a pet. If a player wants to have a pet mouse or a pet dog or something like that, you can have a pet, right? It has the game statistics of an animal, which means it's going to die really easily in combat, okay? And you can train certain animals, but you have no way of, you might have a magical way of communicating with it, but you might not have any way of communicating with it. And so, yeah, you go out and buy a war dog. That's great. It knows some commands. That's great. but it doesn't have a lot of armor class, and its hit points are really bad, so it's going to die really fast. And that's the way it is, because it's the way it is. So yeah, you can do that. Your pet mouse is going to die very fast. Sorry. Fireball is a thing. Do you think the Dungeon Master Guide is worth it? And yeah. Monster Manual, you have to have the Monster Manual. Monster Manual is great. The Dungeon Master Guide, if you're going to be a Dungeon Master, then I think, yeah, you get it. You know, there's good, useful information in there for sure. Does the Dungeon Master Guide actually tell you like everything you need to know about being a Dungeon Master? No, absolutely not. If it did, then all of us YouTubers making all these dumb videos would be out of jobs, you know. Icy Gaming Rules says tips for making and describing puzzles. I am horrible at puzzles. I wish I could help you. Usually I look things up online or I steal stuff from other people. The one tip I can give you is sometimes I will put a puzzle or a riddle in the game and there's no answer. Like, I don't know what the answer is. Okay? It's purely there to engage the minds of the players who like that sort of thing. And they'll be trying to figure it out, you know, and I just pick one of their answers to be correct, and it works. And then they get by it, and they feel good about it, and they have no idea what I just did, you know. So that's a thing. There's a little cheat for you, you know, and it avoids the frustration of, imagine the puzzle has one particular answer, and your players spend a long, long time, and they never actually hit on that answer because it's really complex or hard or whatever, or they just don't think of it. You know, that's frustrating as crap, you know, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's some advice for you. I'm about ready to start doing our adventure creation stream here. What's your favorite terrain or location for an adventure? I don't know that I have a favorite terrain. I think that it's important to have a variety of terrains and locations and locales, volcanoes, different plains, swamps. And what would I put in them? I would put things in them that are naturally occurring in those things, only with a twist. Okay? You want some of those things to be hazardous. The volcano, the lava, sometimes has little explosions that happen and shower the area with lava or rocks or something. The swamp has like little pockets of gas that occasionally bubble up and erupt, and there's like a poisonous cloud or something. So place things there that are logical for those environments, but put a twist on it that makes things a little hazardous for your players. Okay, because that makes it that makes it more interesting, obviously. Lewis Michael wants to know where this dragon mug is from. I got this from a place in Mackinac City, Michigan called Enchanted Nights. Enchanted Nights, I think is the name of it. In Mackinac City, Michigan. Hold on. Yeah, Enchanted Nights in Mackinac City, Michigan. Do they have a webpage? Oh, they have a webpage. Hold on. They have a webpage. Look at that. I'll drop a link to their webpage here in the chat for you. I don't know that you can actually order anything online. I don't know if they have that kind of stuff. I get it in person, but that's where I got it from. So you can at least call them and be like, I need that mug. And they might be able to help you. Captain Bruce, if you can only invite one player over. Yeah, you can play with one player. I played back in high school. One of my games was with one player because the other players didn't. I don't know. I think they were all in sports and crap, and they were like they couldn't play because of sports or something. I don't know. Or I sucked. That's possible. It was like it's high school. You know, most of the things you do in high school aren't that good. But yeah, I played with one player for a while. So yeah, it's possible. Totally doable. The backstory template in your session 1 video is not working. I can take a look at it. Diamantores, you missed the entire question and answer segment of the live stream today, I feel. I'm gonna answer one more question, and then we're gonna get into adventure creation. We're gonna keep working on the adventure that we made together, or that we are making together. So one more question. One more lucky person. I think probably what I'm gonna do though is I think for most of my live streams, I'm probably gonna open up with a question and answer segment where I just answer questions. And then we'll get into something else, adventure creation or something like that. So, Dave Kinney, do you totally create your own world or use the D&D world exclusively or a combination of both? I almost exclusively use a pre-made world because it's far easier. And I just don't enjoy making up custom worlds. And in all honesty, when I've played games that were in custom worlds, like, I didn't like them. Like, I was like, okay, so all of the elves are super young and they all have penalties. So basically you change the elves and now they're unplayable. Well, thanks. I kind of like elves. You know what I mean? So like it's never appealed to me a whole lot as a player when dungeon masters make their custom worlds. And so as a dungeon master, I just don't do it. It's not worth my time and effort to create a custom world if it's not going to be amazing for my players. Now, that just could be my own bad luck. You know, you might make a custom world that your players love and really engage with, and that's a totally different story. In that case, it's probably worth your time, you know, to do that. I just don't do it. But that's not knocking it. It's not saying it's bad or wrong and that you shouldn't do it. It's just saying that I personally don't get a whole lot of value out of it. And so I spend my time doing other things. So I create all the adventures, which is a lot of work, you know, as opposed to creating the world. All right. Georgie says, where can I find examples of a high-level encounter level 17, for example? I'm pretty sure that I have an adventure on my website, thedmlair.com, that was, at least one of them is for a higher level. And that should give you examples. I don't think it's level 17, but it's fairly high level. I think there's like a level 15-ish something or other up there. You can go check that out. That might give you some examples. You can also just buy one of these modules, dude. Like, right here. This right here has all the way up to level 20. Okay, so you can get this bad boy and then find examples of level 17 encounters in it. I literally just have a pile of D&D books on my desk here, and I have more over there on my bookshelves. I'm just like, let me see where this book is. I just look through my big pile on my desk. I don't have any shelf space left to put all my D&D books. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're doing right now. I apologize if I did not get to your question. It's unfortunately impossible. It's the name of the game that I can't get to everybody's question. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take an intermission break. I'm going to go upstairs, use the bathroom because I drink coffee and I have had no breakfast, and there's biological stuff that happens in that scenario. And then when we come back, we are going to be working on our the adventure we've been creating. Let me give you a tease of that adventure that we've been creating together. I'm going to show you what we're going to be working on. Stand by. Let me find it real quickly for you. So we've been working on an adventure called Fishy Business, and I'm going to pull this up on the stream so that you all can see this bad boy. Come over here. All right, so this is the D&D adventure, stand by, that we have been working on together, and it's an adventure about Sahuagin. I mean, that's one of the things that it's about, and we have built out a lot of it right here. And so we are just going to continue working on this adventure together. And then we started to make a map for it too. And let me go over to the map. So I'm using Dungeon Fog for the maps for this adventure. And I'm going to show you we haven't really created a whole lot with the maps so far. But I'll show you what we have. I mean, we really just have a couple chambers. It's not a whole lot. Go away. Come on, man. You're killing me. You're killing me. Killing me. All right, hold on. I have to do something. This thing's driving me nuts. I didn't have time to get my screen set up ahead of time. So now I have to, here we go. And I think, how do I zoom out? There we go. All right, now let me go to the screen. So this is the map that we began creating. And let me see, how do I zoom out? So it's nothing, I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's a map, you know. It's got some rooms in it and stuff. So it's nothing really to get all proud about. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. So we're gonna transition now over to working on that adventure for a little bit together. And I'll take a quick intermission break, and then I'll see you all back in just a few minutes. It shouldn't take too super long. So let's cue up some music for you while you wait. And then hit the intermission screen, and we shall return shortly. Kill the music. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. You know, I raided the refrigerator. I found what did I find? There was a bowl of some noodles and soup type thing that my wife had left in the refrigerator, and so I just pulled it out. My teeth actually hurt because it was so cold. But I was just like, had a little bit of that stuff real quick. Yeah, because I didn't get to eat anything this morning. That music is from Epidemic Sound. Epidemic? It's Epidemic Sound? Endemic Sound? I don't know. They're what I use for my YouTube video music. Epidemic Sound. Yeah, that's the name of it. I have like a subscription to them so that I can use their music in my videos and stuff. So that's what that was from. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the adventure creation segment of our stream. If you were not here for the giveaway, then you need to go sign yourself up right here for some tactical tokens. The word is coffee. The password that you need to enter in there is coffee, and you can win yourself some of these bad boys right here. So yeah, go enter that if you haven't already. I like to give junk away. It's actually not junk. It's actually really good. They're really high quality tokens. So yeah, check that stuff out. Ketchup is in the house. Good to see you, man. You're here just in time to do our adventure creation stuff. Yeah, totally. For anybody just joining us as well, before we jump in, I do want to let you know that for any of y'all who want to play some D&D with me, there is one slot currently open in my Patreon game. So there's a link down in the description to my Patreon channel. Actually, you know what? I'm sure there should be one down there, but I'll drop a link real quick to it for y'all. So if you want to play D&D with me, there is a slot open, and I'll throw you a link to that right there for you if you want to check that stuff out. Also, if you're getting value from the content I create, from all the videos, or all the information, the live streams, and all that type of stuff, my Patreon is a great way for you to become a part of what we're doing, help support the channel, help support the content, and all that good stuff. So feel free to check that out if that's your jam. If not, then no worries. Let's create something together. Let's do some adventure creation today. We're gonna need this. We're definitely gonna need that window right there. And I'm getting my windows configured right here for our adventure creation stream. Crap, that didn't work. All right, let's make that full screen. Trying to get my tabs ready for us here so we can start creating this thing. There we go. All right, we got that. We got Dungeon Fog going, which is for that. Painful memories. Who's bringing back painful memories? And let's pull up here's our adventure. Okay, we actually need to go to the right screen as well. There we go. Now we're on the right screen. So basically, this is an adventure featuring, it's got a lot of Kuo-toa in it. So the monsters, the creatures that we have for this, so far, I mean, we have some goblins and giant frogs, but they're just they're like an encounter on the way to the adventure. But mostly, we are envisioning that this adventure would feature Kuo-toa. And so we have some of those basic stat blocks or basic monsters written down here. This adventure, oh, you know what I need to change? I need to change my ticker text. Stand by. Stop. I need to change this. Turn that off. All right, that's good. We'll turn that on. And then, there we go. We'll start that up. Oh, you guys can see all my ticker text. So basically, we're creating an adventure that is for levels 1 through 4. This is important. You all need to know this. Characters levels 1 through 4. Yes, the aboleth is not... Oh, yes, the aboleth is not the boss. It does feature an aboleth, but it is not the boss. In fact, down in the description, there is a link to download this as well. I want to make a note. I want to make a note about something. All right, cool. The aboleth is like not in this adventure. It is the Kuo-toa kind of worship the aboleth, but the Kuo-toa are the main villains in this adventure. We have names for them. We have a location where it takes place. We have the Kuo-toa are called Children of the Deep Father, and the aboleth's name is Orchid the Binder. And so we've already kind of set up the inciting action. We've set up an encounter on the way to the adventure right here, and there is an Arakakra village called Cliff's Edge where the heroes like get the adventure from. That's like the hook that gets them on it. And then there is a hole that leads down to this area right here, some caverns that are beneath this adventure. And so we're trying to create kind of like a unique adventure location. There's like water in it. I think we should probably have some segments of this adventure that are like underwater and stuff like that. So one of my patrons, one of his rewards is that he gets to kind of like choose some sort of like cool thing for us to do for an adventure. And he wanted us to create a unique and exciting locale for an adventure to take place in. And so we're trying to make this like underwater Kuo-toa thing kind of interesting and whatnot. So I think we'd actually brainstormed a bunch of ideas. Yeah, we had brainstormed a whole bunch of Lair ideas. And this adventure takes place in lava channels in this like mountain. And we had a bunch of ideas here as well. Yeah, like swimming areas, air pockets and stuff like that. Oh, that's right. This is a holy place of worship, this Kuo-toa area. And so we want to include elements that are kind of awe-inspiring. We had imagined a crystal cave, statues or ruins, shrines to the aboleth, religious texts, stuff like that. Okay, so that's kind of, we're trying to do something along those lines with this adventure, is what we're doing here. And as always, this is a collaborative adventure creation stream, so I'm relying upon you all to give ideas for what we're doing here. I don't want to be the one making everything up, because that would just be boring. So it's up to you to help craft what happens with this adventure. You could probably consider the Kuo-toa as a cult of that aboleth. They worship it, you know, and the aboleth is not like a standard deity, so you could call that a cult if you want. All right, where do we leave off? So we have this area right here, this K1, is where the adventurers enter the dungeon. They come down a hole into this area right here. And then we were envisioning, we had some other areas right here that we were going to, I don't think we've created anything about those areas still. So this passage, so we have the K1 and then we have the K2. Oops, I'm going to close that. I don't need that anymore. What I need is this right here. So there was nothing, this fish pool that they came down into had like a swarm of giant leeches in there. And we're using the swarm of rats to represent that. And then we had an ominous tunnel. So this K2 was an ominous tunnel. Kind of had some water in it that they had to walk through. And then there was a script written on it that had some, we came up with this like really cool wording to be written on the walls that the adventurers would come across. But that's pretty much it. That's where we left off. And so we need to know we have a couple rooms here that we have created. What's going to be in this room? Like what should we put in this room right here? So far, we've had one encounter with some leeches. That's not a big deal. But we might have an encounter. There might be something else in this room. What is the purpose of this room? That is what we need to decide, I feel. The purpose of that room. And this is where I need your help. It's a large war room. Human sacrifices. Okay. Are they capturing humans or anything? Oh, part of the central conflict is that the Kuo-toa are ravaging the local fish supply. They're eating a lot of the fish, and they're using the fish as sacrifices to the aboleth. And that causes a problem for the Aarakocra because they don't have a ready food supply. And so that's actually one of the problems the players are trying to solve. But they're not actually capturing and sacrificing people at all. Zombie fish monsters. Ooh, a storeroom filled with dead fish and fish guts. Okay, a jail. I don't know. Who is going to be in the jail? Who's going to be in the jail cell? Oh, it could be some Aarakocra or something. The Deep Father stuff is giving me upheaval vibes, and it's kind of weirding me out. I don't know what upheaval is. Is that like a game or something? You can ask questions about the adventure, but in the context of helping us work on this adventure. So if there are things you're not sure about, then you can ask questions about it. But it's not like a Q&A segment right now. I want to keep us focused on creating this adventure together. Smoking fifth to the aboleth, a large fish storeroom or offering room. Okay. All right, we can do that. A deep scion. What is a deep scion? What is that from? That sounds familiar. What book is that from? The Deep Scion. I need to open up. That sounds like something from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, doesn't it? All right, I'm going to open up. Okay, we got the monster manual. I'm pretty sure Deep Scion is not in the monster manual. That over there, roughly around there. It's got to be in like Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. I'm pretty sure that sounds like Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. But we need to make sure that we are using level appropriate monsters. This is a level 1 through 4 adventure. Yeah, if it doesn't work for that level, then we're not using it. Where is this Deep Scion? Is it somewhere around here, guys? What level? What adventure is that? Volo's Guide to Monsters? Okay. Let me open that one up. Volo's Guide to Monsters. And you're saying Deep Scion. All right, let me find that bad boy. Yep, there it is. It's a CR3. That's not going to work. That's way too hard for level 1 through 4. If you run into this at levels 1 or 2, it's going to kill you. At level 3, it'll probably be levels 3 and 4. It's too easy. It's not a good monster. Not for this level of an adventure. We could put a Kuo-toa in here. What kind of monster could we put in here that's not a Kuo-toa that might be working with the Kuo-toa? What would make sense? Something related to Kuo-toa. I don't know that we want them to run into a Kuo-toa right away. Like, if we're envisioning that this is a sort of room where it's a storehouse where they would keep their fish, what might they have as a guard for those fish? Ooh, giant crab. That's interesting. Zombie fish. It's dry ground. Ooh, a water elemental. That's a CR5. It's too high. Giant octopus. We're out of water, so I feel the need to. This is the room we're talking about right here, and it has no water in it. Ooh, oh, aren't there like little mephits? Are there like water mephits or something, or like ice mephits? Isn't there something like that? A cave fisher. That's interesting. Cave fisher. What's the CR on a cave fisher? I I think maybe some methods. Some methods might be cool. Let's go look at the methods. That is in more Monster Manual. Methods. We have a ice method. That's pretty close. A steam method. That's not bad. Which actually makes sense because these are like this is, you know, ancient volcano tunnels, like lava tunnels and stuff like that. So yeah, I think steam methods is probably a good choice just based on that. And it's a CR1/4. Okay, so let's start envisioning this. I think we're envisioning this as a where is this? Where am I? So this is K3. K3. And this is just going to be Fish Warehouse. That's what, I guess what we'll call it. And what's in here? So if we're envisioning this as a warehouse where they would store their fish, what does this look like? What types of things are we going to find in here? So we need to do like a basic description here for folks. And let's get some read aloud text. And then if we want to do some steam methods, which I think could be cool, we're going to build out a little encounter here for steam methods. And we'll get rid of all this stuff. We don't need that. We only need one of these rows. And what we're going to be doing here is, if you've been in my streams before, you know how we do this. But if you haven't, then you don't. So I'm going to explain it to you. Basically, we are going to create an encounter that can be used at levels 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending upon the level of your group. So that is what we do here. And to do that, we use this website right here. I want to make sure, get this off the screen. Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see that. Okay. And probably make this a little bit smaller. Like that. That's going to be a little bit better for y'all. And so if at level 1, we're just going to input some basic information in here. And for the monsters, what level are methods? Steam methods are 50 experience points. And so now what we do is we'll throw in, let's say there's 2 of them, 50 XP. 2 of them is going to be an easy encounter. 3 of them at level 1 is hard. Let's do 2 of them. So at level 1, if they encounter them at level 1, there's only going to be 2 steam methods. Oh, whoops, is that right? No, it's 200 and 100. So the adjusted XP is 200, but the actual XP that you reward is 100. I'm not going to explain what that all necessarily means. It's explained in the Dungeon Master Guide, where it talks about this sort of thing, calculating the encounter difficulties and stuff like that. This is the important row, though. XP awarded. If your players overcome this encounter, that's what they get. I have 1 character at level 4. Oh, whoops. Thank you for pointing that out. Ah! The game was rigged from the very beginning. Does that change anything? It still works, but that's a very good point. If I had messed that up for like the entire thing, then we would have been in trouble. So now it is 100 and 150 is the, I'm opening up Excel. Do I need to open up Excel right now? Probably not. 150 is the adjusted XP. Okay, there we go. Cool. And now we're gonna rinse and repeat. We're gonna do this for level 2. Now it becomes trivial. So we need to add 1 more. Now it becomes easy. And then it becomes, let's keep it easy. So we're just gonna do 3 of them. We'll just keep it. There's nothing wrong with having an easy encounter. You know, you want to have a variety of encounter difficulties in your adventure. Some are easy, some are hard, some might be deadly. You want a variety of things. But I can tell you that low levels, even the things that are easy on paper, can quickly turn into something very challenging. Because at low levels, things are very swingy and your players do not have a lot of hit points. So I would rather create things easier than harder at low levels. And at level 3, 3 of them is still challenging, but let's go with 4. 4 works as well. So let's do 4 of them. And that would be easy. Now for level 4, how many are we going to need? Character level 4. If we do 5 of them, 5 could work. 6 of them. Let's do 6 of them. 600 and then 300. There we go. All right, so we have created an encounter with Steam methods that will work across a variety of different levels. See you later, kebab. Ooh, fire newts. Oh, those are cool. Where are which module or which book are fire newts in? That sounds familiar. But that's a good idea for a creature. I feel like that would fit in with the aquatic theme, but also the fact that we're, in an ancient volcano. Where are fire newts? Volos, okay. Thank you. Let's go check out Volos and figure out the fire newts. We're also trying to envision like what's in this warehouse. I think I see some people drop some ideas for that. So we'll check that out because we want to flesh out what this fish warehouse looks like as well. And then we're going to see if I can use the search feature. Fire newt. See if this will search it for me and find it. Nope. Oh, look at that. They spelled it as one word. That would explain why I couldn't find it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's a CR 1/2. That's not too bad. We could use that. We have a fire newt warrior. Oh, there's a warlock. Oh, that's interesting. Let's just start off with the fire newt warrior to begin with. And that's a CR1, so let's throw him right here. I was hoping I could just copy paste it, but I wanted to do it all caps on me. And that's on page 142. That was CR 1/2, right? Yeah, for 100 XP. All right. Cool. So yeah, we can use those somewhere. I don't know where, but we'll find a use for them. Hey Aiden, what's going on, dude? What are we doing? We are creating an adventure. We're creating a level 1 through 4 D&D adventure together. So feel free to contribute ideas. Dubsy, hello. Master of Dungeons. Master of Dungeons. And where'd I go? Right here. So we need to describe what is in that warehouse that has some Steam methods as guardians. So I'm going to try to see if I had any suggestions for how to describe that. What might be in there? Oh, that's a good idea. Ender Warlock says, scattered craters once filled with larvae now are overflowing with fish of all kinds. Players could hide in these as well from the methods if they don't want to fight. Oh, interesting. I like that idea. Piles of seawood used for packing the fish. Those are cool. That's cool. All right, cool. We'll use that. So we say, this large chamber is filled with several pools of water. And then what else did we say? Oh, yeah. Shelving along the walls contains wooden boxes. All right, let's go with that. And then what we're going to do here is let's go over to our map And let's zoom in. That's the wrong button. Zoom in. And we need to put little pools of water in this room. So I'm going to grab, I don't know to what extent you guys want to see the tool, but this tool has I think it's the paintbrush. I think it's this paintbrush thing right here. And we're going to paint. Oops. Nope, that's the wrong one. It's not the paintbrush. It must be this guy right here. Yeah, here it is. And then we're going to pick a texture. We want it to be water. And let's make it shimmering green water. That's too big. So that's way too big. There we go. Now we're just going to make some pools of water. Let's imagine that the shelving is like through this area over here. So let's just... Why won't this paint? Okay. It's not painting for me. Like I'm clicking here and nothing's happening. Oh, my thickness might be too slow. Let's try it. There we go. That works. Let's just paint like a pool of water right here. You actually can't see that very well. Let's change that texture. Let's change that to this blue. There, that's a little bit more visible. So we're just gonna put some little craters, pools of water in this room, and this is where it's gonna be brimming with fish and stuff. So we'll add that to our description in a little bit. But we're gonna add some little craters in here. There. Okay, cool. That's good. And let's go back to our Word document. My opacity was 100. That's good though. If the opacity is 0, then you can't see it. What idea are you talking about, Cthulhu? Oh, the zombie fish? we can get to zombie fish at some point, man. I want maximum opacity. Yeah, that's what I had. Oh, you're probably talking to the other dude. All right, anyway, let's talk this out. So let's do this. Pools of water. These are brimming with fish that the Kuatoa have captured from... Did we name the lake? Yeah, Lake Quapo. From Lake Quapo. All right. So they're brimming with fish that the Kuatoa have captured from Lake Quapo. And then we have that shelving. I wonder, do we have a furniture or shelving? Shelf. Fantasy. Furniture. There we go. We have shelves. Let me see. There's a way to make these things smaller. Control Shift mouse wheel, and then Shift rotates it. Oops. I wish there were a way to collapse this menu over here. Like, I don't need to see that anymore. I really just want it to go away. I wish I could collapse that. It's taking up all of my screen, you know. Anyway. So let's make this a little smaller. Let's rotate this a little bit. And then we're going to make a bunch of shelving along these walls here. in our room. This is the shelving where they are storing. Whoops. Where they store the fish and stuff. And then there is seaweed as well. So there we go. We have some shelving now in that area of the room. Oh, this is K3. So we should name this room. There we go. And then I think I can move this. Yep, let's move that. All right, so K3. And then we have shelving. Shelving. All right. The boxes on the shelves contain preserved fish wrapped in seaweed. And then we could say, you know what, there should be a pile of... There is a large pile of seaweed in one corner of the room. You know what we should do? What if we have... Where should the steam methods come from? So if we have salted... Oh yeah, you got a salted. Where would the steam methods be hiding? Like in the room, so the players enter the room and they're exploring, and then these steam methods are going to come from somewhere as guardians of this room. Where would they be? Where would they come from? And then we're going to add contain salted fish wrapped in seaweed. There are also several jars full of salt because you got to preserve the fish with the salt. All right. Natural pipes along the walls. One of the pools is hot. Oh, that could be it. One of the pools could be hot. A large what? Oh, yeah, good point. A large pile of seaweed. There we go. Thank you. Corrected that typo. Hiding in air pockets or air tubes in the upper ceiling. One of the pools is hot. Yeah, let's just make yeah, a steam vent under one of the pools is like a Yellowstone hot spring. Yeah, I like that idea. I think we're just gonna do one of those. One of the pools is, what do you want to call it? Is extremely hot, being heated by a steam vent from the volcano below, and contains steam method guardians. I think wouldn't the steam method guardians, what's the intelligence of a steam method? I guess is the question. So they're average human intelligence. They're not stupid creatures. So if they're working with the Kuo-toa, then I imagine the Kuo-toa have given them instructions to guard their fish storehouse and to attack any intruders. So we could just say, I think we would just say that, like, they exit the pool a few moments after the PCs enter the room, What language do they speak? What language do they speak? Aquan and Ignan. All right, let's have them speak in Aquan and demand in Aquan that they leave. So let's actually do this. Let's put this over here. Let's call this encounter notes. And then let's say the Steam methods. Exit the pool a few moments after the PCs enter the room and demand in Aquan that they leave. If the PCs do not leave, they attack. Because they have been entrusted to guard this fish warehouse. So, but that'll give a little bit of opportunity for the players to converse with the fish people and have a little bit of social interaction in this part of the dungeon. Well, if they speak Aquan, they have to be able to speak Aquan. Philip Ketchup, welcome back, man. I don't know. The Kuotoa could have gotten the salt from boiling like Carollo suggested, or from somewhere else. I don't know. When PCs know Aquan. Aquan is actually a variant of Primordial, I believe. So any PC who speaks Primordial would understand them. Like if you look up in the player handbook Primordial, I think that's where it talks about that. But Aquan, so Primordial is the language that elementals speak, and there are 4 variants of Primordial. Aquan, Ignan, there's an Earth one, and then there is an air. Is it an air one or something like that? It's something like that. Ganassi understand it. Some of my players pick Primordial as well as their language. You stink of man flesh. Yes. Aurian and Terran. Okay, cool. All right, anything else for this room? Anything else we want to do in this room? We have these pools of water. They're brimming with fish. We have shelving that contains preserved fish packed in seaweed. We have a pile of seaweed in one corner. We have an encounter in the room. Is there anything else? I mean, we don't want to overburden one room. We don't want to pack a whole bunch of stuff in one room, you know. I think we can move on to the room then. So we have, let me save this. We're not putting this magic items, no. This is a low-level adventure. Did we already roll loot? We already rolled loot. This is all of the loot that we have to distribute. We actually do have magic items. We do have magic items that we had rolled up to put in this adventure. We could put something in here. We could say that there's some in the bottom of one of the pools. There's some silver pieces. So we could just say like 200 silver pieces or something. I don't know. In the bottom of one of the pools. That way there's something in there for them to find. At the bottom of one of the pools is 200 silver pieces. Bam. Ooh. That might be at the bottom of the pool that the steam methods are in. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. A mushroom in the warehouse? Yeah, how would we indicate which pool is the hot one? I don't know. I don't know what that is. That's crazy. Let me see we should have a way to... I just pick a color. Can't even see the colors. Oh, there's a red one. Okay. And let's make the opacity a little bit lower on this. What if it's this middle one? I feel like this middle one's probably not a bad one. That's black. That doesn't help me. Why can't I change my brush color? Look at this. Now it's blue. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. That's going to help me. Now I can actually choose a color. There. We'll say the red one. That's how we determine. It's the one marked in red. One of the pools, red on the map. There we go. All right, done. It's gonna be purple. It didn't mix them together too much. So separate the +1 stones like a breadcrumb trail. Oh, that's interesting. Mold growing closer to the hot pool than the other ones. Oh, that's true. One of the pools on the map is extremely hot and has mold growing around it. This pool contains steam method guardians and has at the bottom of it 200 silver pieces. There we go. So they find some silver pieces at the bottom of it. Weird bacteria. The whole room is super humid and smelly. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. This large chamber is filled with several pools of water. Extremely humid. And has an odd odor to it. Has an odd, salty odor to it. There you go. Okay, that's pretty good. That's probably enough for one of these rooms here. What is it? Dead fish and sulfur? Oh, that's not bad. Ah, dead fish and sulfur. That's good. And I like that. That actually sounds better than what. And smells like dead fish and sulfur. Nice. That sounds better than what I had. Old fisherman's boot. Robert, do you like sniff old fisherman's boots a whole lot? Like, how do you know what it smells like? Just out of curiosity's sake. He's like, my dad was a fisherman, and I sniffed his boots all the time. All right, so let's move on to a different room. I think we have poked around at that room long enough. We should move on to something different. I think we had another room. So this room right here, what should we put in this room right here? What should be the purpose of that room? Some of the ideas that we had for this lair, we could have crystal caves, statues of runes, shrines to an aboleth, volcanic ash, let's see, religious texts. So these are some of the ideas that we had brainstormed to put in the room. Oh, a dark mantle. That's really cool. An alchemist in there. Fishenstein. Until I put like a zombie fish in a room, Cthulhu is just going to keep on suggesting the exact same thing for the whole adventure. All right, I need to go. I need to take a little break and use the bathroom real quick, and then I'll be back, and then we'll flesh out that room right there. So you guys think of ideas of what we can put in that room, and then I'll be back in a moment.
I need a change. I need for something to happen to me without a warning. Walking the same steps every morning. I see all the same faces, but I don't even know them. I wanna change now, following the same trace. I'm stuck in a strange place, and I need a change now. It's all the same. It's all Monday morning. Every weekday feels like the same to me. Nothing that takes me places where I've not been. Nothing that makes me see things that I've not seen. I wanna change now, following the same trace. I'm stuck in a strange place, and I need a change now. I wanna change now, following the same trace. Stuck in a strange place, and I need a change now.
All right, kill the music. There we go. All right. All right, so we're coming up with ideas for what this room should be. I almost feel like I was actually thinking about this. Maybe it feels like we're almost kind of like just blindly going through, creating rooms, envisioning what's going to be in them and stuff. Maybe what we should do instead of doing that is maybe we should just kind of brainstorm a list of the different types of rooms that should be in this area, like the entire adventure. Come up with like a list of rooms that will be here, and then we start creating it or something. I almost feel like that might be more productive. And then we kind of have an outline of the different things that we need to create, as opposed to just like, going room by room, So that might be more productive for us to do that. So let's just start. So let's make a list of rooms. Rooms for the Kuatoa compound. All right. I feel like there has to be a shrine room. Shrine room to their aboleth deity. We got to have a shrine room. Definitely want to have a shrine room. It's a first level adventure. It's made for levels 1 through 4, so it's a very low level adventure. Some sort of puzzle would be nice. A puzzle room that leads to the treasure room. To a treasure vault. It could be an ancient treasure vault. It doesn't even need to be something that Kuo-toa even know about, perhaps. You know? That could work. An alchemist room? What would the alchemist room be for? Like, what's going on in there? Like, why would we have an alchemist room? Like, a Kuo-toa alchemist? And if you have a Kuo-toa alchemist, what is he doing? What's the point? You know, like, what's his purpose? An armory room. I think we could have, like, a Kuo-toa guard room armory. Something like that. Something like that would make sense. A shaman's room. Yep, because I think one of the Kuo-toa is an arc priest. So we have a whip and we have an arc priest. Let me see what those guys actually do. Where are those guys? Kuo-toa arc priest and then a whip. Now the whip has spellcasting abilities. But the arc priest is the one with a lot of spellcasting abilities. That's a high level. Yeah, that's really high too. That probably won't get included at level 1 and 2 for sure. Maybe level 4. Level 4 they could probably take this guy on, but that's going to be even hard. Okay, so they'll be like their leader's room. The leader is going to be like the shaman or something probably. Shaman room. I think it's also going to be their leader room. Something like that. Probably would be that. Yeah, you might want some living quarters. Yep. So some living quarters from everybody. Yeah. So that Grumpy Ninja brings up a really good point here. This is not going to be a super long adventure. So some of these ideas might get cut. I'm not going to create a super crazy long adventure here. This is going to be a little bit shorter and contained. You can call it a one shot if you like, but I don't want to create like an entire huge massive adventure, which is what we'd have to do if we incorporate everybody's ideas. So let's just get some ideas going here, and then we'll pick which ones we actually want to do. Yeah, your leader room needs an antechamber. That's true. Antechamber for leader's room. I wanted to have some sort of crystal cave. Some sort of crystal cave. You know what? The crystal cave might be the shaman's room or the leader room. Because that would be a really cool place for the leader to be. AJ Silver Radio, you're right. We can always nerf the monster stats. Absolutely. We can always do that. We can adjust it. Hostage quarters. What hostages are they taking? A sacrifice room. Oh, well, that's the shrine room. The shrine room is where they carry out sacrifices. That's where that happens. If you guys tell me what hostages they're going to be taking, we might have a hostage room. A brothel? Thank you, Slade Wilson. We're not going to have a fish brothel in this adventure. Oh yeah, we should have some underwater areas. So like, what should be underwater? I feel like their living quarters are probably underwater, right? And what if the crystal cave, the shaman room or the leader room is underwater as well. Well, no, you know what? This is a level 1 through 4 adventure. Having things underwater is going to be very difficult. So I don't know that we necessarily want to do that. That's going to complicate things a lot for them. So maybe just deep water, you know, that makes it complex for them. So it could be very deep and they have to swim, but there's air above it that they can breathe or something. I don't know what a Chul's CR is. We had to look it up. Fish hostages? What? No, the players can't. Tom, the players won't be able to breathe underwater. Since they can't breathe underwater, then that will cause a problem for them. All right, so I think we definitely need a crystal cave, which is the leader room. We need to have some sort of antechamber for the leader's room. Okay. We definitely need a shrine room to the Aboleth deity. I like the idea of a puzzle room that leads to an ancient treasure vault. I feel like we should have some living quarters. And the guard room or the armory seems important to me as well. And we're getting into lots of rooms here. So I think we're going to cut the alchemist room. So there we go. Let's roll with these. Let's pretend that these are the rooms that we're going to have. There. Thank you, AJ Silver Radio. That's what I was looking for. Marids and merfolk as hostages. Excellent. I'm out of coffee again. All right, so then we have to have some sort of cells for, let's just call them merfolk. Merfolk hostages. I feel like that's actually kind of important because we want to include an opportunity for some social interaction scenes in the adventure. So I think that's probably fairly important for us to have that in here somewhere. I feel like that's probably there. So I'm like ordering by priority. And I think this guard room would be right here. Yeah. Okay, so now we got some ideas here for the rooms that we're actually going to put in here. Excellent. Well, there's a lake. This whole area connects to a lake. There's a large lake in this area. So there could be merfolk living in the lake or something. Yeah, you're probably thinking that merfolk are like saltwater creatures or something. But, you know, we can do whatever we want, you know, in a game. So we can just say that they live there. All right. Let's build out this room. Kuatoa, guard room, and armory. I feel like this room that we have, where'd that go? This room right here could be the guard room and the armory right here. And I almost think I'm gonna make this bigger so I can actually have some more real estate here. I feel like this room right here, and this room might connect. We might make a little connection between the two. We'll connect these two, and then this could be like a guard room, basically. I mean, we're going to have Kuatoa in the guard room, but while I'm getting the map squared away, what else would be in this guard room with the Kuatoa? What else do we think would be in there? And then I'm going to... I don't think that's the same floor. Oh, I gotta find the ground that I used. I think it was dirt, mud, snow. Where is this? Stone? Stone. Natural stone. Wow. It's taking a long time to load. I wish there were a way to just copy the stone texture that I already have. Here we go. That's pretty close. And then How do I... connecting some of that stuff there. And how do I don't use this a whole lot. Finish the wall is the enter key. There we go. I got the wrong, yeah, whatever. The floor is different. I don't know which floor I used. Like, I wish I could just copy this same floor right here. Petrified lava. Okay. So let's see if I can find petrified lava. Volcanic. Lava. Rock. There we go. Petrified lava. Excellent. Woohoo! And then, oops, I gotta find the wall. The wall is... What's the name of this wall? Colored gravel. All right, so now we're going to change this wall. We're going to change it to colored gravel. There we go. I think that's kind of the same. Oh, you know what I didn't do? The wall type needs to be cave. Nice. And I'm going to hide this part of the wall. And then I'm going to hide this part of the wall. All right, now we have connected these two rooms together. All right, now we have a guard room over here. You can use the dropper on the room to pick up other rooms' settings. Really? Where's that? Where's the dropper? Tashio, where's the dropper, man? I don't know. I have no idea where the dropper tool... Oh! I see it. I think I figured it out. Then I can drop her here. Well, just this room. Okay, cool. I think I figured it out. Awesome. Maybe the connection between the two rooms is underwater, so the players can try, but they aren't forced to try and survive in order to progress. Yeah, that's a good idea. This connection could be totally underwater. So let's paint that in. Oh. Let's get a texture. Water. And let's do that water. Oh, I want the opacity bigger. Give me some more opacity. There we go. There's no dropper for texture. Because ideally I'd want all of this water to be the same color. But I can't quite figure out. There we go. So this is going to be totally underwater. And let's give this a room number. K4. And then we're going to say in our document here, we'll just make a K4, and then we'll say underwater tunnel. This tunnel is completely underwater. There we go. Good. Good. And this one is going to be, this room is K5. And we're putting some Kuotoa guards in this room. What would be in this room? Did we get any... Did we get any idea of what's going to be in this room? Like it's a guard room. So what are you going to have? Weapon racks in there? Are the Kuo-toa going to be like at a table dicing or something? Like what do we envision this guard room is going to look like? Like what's in here? Ooh, fish skulls and scales as armor. Oh, that's a cool idea. Do Kuo-toa wear armor? No, they just use natural armor, but we could decorate them. We could decorate them with that. So we're just gonna add this up to the up here. Children of the Feet. We're just gonna put this up here. Okay. There. So they wear fish skulls and scales as armor and clothing. We'll just add that as a general note to our NPCs up there. K5. Guard room. Heading 1. There we go. They're playing cards made out of large fish scales. That's a cool idea. A giant frog as a pet or guard dog, training dummy, animated armor, fish skulls. Okay. We could just play on the trope of having the guards sitting there playing cards, but they're using fish scales for playing cards. We could totally do that. So then in this room, right here, let's put a table in there. Where's this table? Put a round table in here. Let's make that a little bit smaller. All right. There's a table. And let's say, where's my read aloud text? This room contains several weapon racks. What would be on the weapon racks is a question, I guess. This room contains several weapon racks. And a table and several chairs. Fish-like humanoids sit around the table playing what appears to be a game of cards. Occupants. These are Kuo-toa guards. Excellent. I mean, they should just challenge. Like, they don't just attack outright, do they? Like, what would they do? So they challenge any trespassers, demanding their surrender. But what language do they speak? What language does the Kuo-toa speak? Undercommon. Okay, Undercommon. If you don't speak it, you don't speak it. They're playing Go Fish. Card game. The Kuo-toa are playing a variant of Go Fish using large fish scale playing cards. There you go. Excellent. Nice. I don't know. Kuotoa are not. I mean, they could try. They could certainly try. I'll leave that up to the dungeon master to adjudicate that if his players decide to try to join in. They can certainly try. All right, let's build out this encounter. I have no idea how you would get that across to your players if they're playing Go Fish. You probably wouldn't. You would just describe that they're playing some sort of game, and your players would decide what they want to do. They would probably never be able to figure that out. Yeah, that's the thing. So we're gonna Kuotoa is what level? So they're 50 XP. There are 2 of them. So at level 1, if we put 2 of them in there, it's an easy encounter. 3 of them, it's a hard one. Let's leave it at 2. Oh, I gotta get my my table here. And these are going to be Kuotoa. We have 2 of them. And it's 150 and then 100. 150 adjusted XP and then 100 XP. And if they're level 2, we're just punching our math here. We have 3 of them. Let's make there be 3 of them. My cats are killing each other over here. We have 3 of them at level 2. Oh, 3. And it's 300 and 150. And then at level 3, we can have there be 4 of them. That should work. Still easy. And it's 400 and 200 for those guys. And then at level 4, I mean, at level 4, we could probably, you know what we could probably do? At level 4, we could bring in one of these whips at level 4 and have him be in there. That could make things interesting. Or we could save that whip and introduce it in a different chamber. Yeah, we might just have there be 5 Kuotoa in there. And we'll save that whip and put it in a different chamber. That way we're kind of like slowly introducing them to more of these Kuotoa baddies, as opposed to encountering like most of the different types all in the first encounter in the adventure. Let's keep 5 of them. Let's just do 5 of those guys. Still an easy encounter. 500 and 250. There we go. And then we had weapon racks. And somebody had an idea for what we put on these weapon racks. Spears, trident, fishing rods, and pool cues. What are they using the pool cues for? Spears, tridents. Do they use fishing rods? I don't think Kuotoa would use fishing rods. They're underwater creatures, so if they're fishing, they're probably fishing with nets, would be my guess. And what do Kuotoa use as weapons? Where are they? A spear. Yeah, they use spears and nets as well. Okay. Cool. All right, anything else for this room? We have Kutoa in there. We have some weapon racks in there. They're sitting around a table. They're playing a card game. Ooh, shark tooth daggers. And harpoon guns. That's interesting. Shark tooth daggers. Harpoon guns. And you would just use probably like the heavy crossbow stat block or a heavy crossbow statistics for the harpoon gun. That would probably work just fine. All right, so where am I? Okay, so we have a basic guard room there. Let's save that. Awesome. I don't want to put any more magic items. We already have magic items designated to go into the adventure. So I'm not gonna add more of them in and stuff. All right, so this is what we're doing, guys. I'm gonna have to end the stream here. I'm like exhausted, and I'm just running out of juice right about now. So this is as far as we're gonna get on our adventure today, and then we're gonna come back a different point in time. We'll continue this maybe next week, maybe or something like that. So, but yeah, I gotta get out of here. I was up late last night. I'm exhausted, and I'm like running out of energy and go juice. So, yeah, we're gonna have to call it a day there. Sorry, guys. I was hoping to go a little bit longer, but things don't always go as you plan, you know. So, thanks for hanging out, and we shall catch you guys all at a different time. Appreciate y'all hanging out, having fun. And Philip Ketchup came back just as we're about to end the stream. See you later, Ketchup, man. It's been fun. Yeah, I gotta get some rest. I'm just exhausted right now. So, all right, guys. Until next time, let's play D&D. That's my closing. That's my wonderful closing.